Game Time! Welcome to another episode of Game Time, presented this week by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the National Electrical Contractors Association. I'm JP Murrieta. This week we are at Mountainair High School, home of the Mustangs and their football team, and sitting next to me, head coach Robert Samora. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We're a couple games into the season. You started the year with a couple of really tough challengers, Grady and Logan, then played a team from out of state. What have you found out about your club so far this year?
Well, I think we started out a little bit slow. I don't know, we had a couple injuries right off the bat, so we had to make some adjustments. You know, when you're first getting started, you're just trying to get your first group really set up. When you get those injuries, you kind of need to plug guys in that ain't really ready yet. So we started out a little bit slow, but you know, we played the #1 team in the state, and then Logan, the defending state champs. And I mean, we're coming around. We're coming around. We're everything that should be happening is happening. We're getting healthy again. So, you know, we're looking forward to the season and just keep playing. And we unfortunately had a game that got canceled Friday because of the weather. I don't think we're going to be able to make it up, but we got a big, tough team in El Paso this weekend, and these guys have been working hard. So
yeah, you mentioned not only accounting for injuries, which is something every team has to do. Every team also has to deal with the weather, as we know in New Mexico. How much of a challenge is that when you have a game, unfortunately, that can't be rescheduled because of Mother Nature?
Yeah, we tried to schedule it for Saturday, but they couldn't make it. And as the way the rules are, you know, you can really play one game a week. So it hurts when you work hard all week, get ready for a team, and then it gets canceled. So we just got to stay up and get ready for the next one.
Let's talk about six-man football as a sport. For anyone out there who hasn't seen six-man football, how would you describe it to them?
It's a fast game. You gotta be able to tackle, and you gotta be able to block. And I feel like you gotta be able to do that better than any other 11-man or 8-man, because if you're pretty much one-on-one a lot. But it's a fun game. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to come out and watch it. And we have the best stadium in the state, so I encourage you to come watch it here.
All right, good enough. I like that. Promoting your own program. How about these fast horses behind you? Who's kind of carrying the load for you this year?
We got a mix of my running back, quarterbacks, juniors. I got some seniors that have stepped up this year. And it's kind of a mix of everybody. You know, it's not. That's the one good thing about our team is we're not surrounded around one person like a lot of teams are. So this year we've got a group that we can go several different ways, and we got threats everywhere.
Being a six-man program, smaller school, you only have a limited roster, obviously, a smaller number of guys. How difficult is that chess-playing game of putting the right people in the right positions?
It is. It's difficult. You know, you got to make sure you got the right guy in the right spot, or else you're going to feel it. You know.
Mountainair last appeared in the state final in 2022, but as we can see, you got a state championship banner hanging on the wall in 2007. What does it take to reach that final game and to lift the blue trophy at the end of the season?
It's a lot of everything. You got to stay healthy. Your players got to believe, and they got to work. They got to work harder and harder every week, and you got to peak out at the right time, and you got to have some luck on your side also.
You're one of the veteran coaches in the state of New Mexico, been with this program and in this community for a while now. What do you like about Mountainair, and what do you enjoy about the community and the program?
Well, I think we're hometown kids, you know. I grew up here, I played here, we won state championships here, and these kids are all from here. You know, we're not kids that come from other towns and get built around, you know, just winning a state championship. So I embrace that. I know the kids embrace that, and the coaches that I have embrace that, and we work hard. And I wouldn't trade these guys for no kids in the state.
And you mentioned you have a team from Texas on the schedule next. What's the focus this week?
They're a big team. They're fast, and they have a bunch of kids. So the focus is just, you know, we got a formula we do on both sides of the ball, and we got to just make sure that we got our formula down, and then you know, little adjustments as we go during the game. But if we do what we're supposed to do, we'll be all right to start that game, and then and then make adjustments.
All right, well, good luck with that formula and good luck the rest of the season.
I appreciate you, JP. Thanks for coming out.
We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, one night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks, and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to the website to find out today.
At Jiffy Lube, we car about cars. In fact, we're kind of obsessed. It's why we've been taking car business with quick quality service for over 40 years.
Are you saying car?
That's right, Claire. And with things like our Carful Vehicle Review, where our experts check, fill, inspect, and clean your vehicle, you'll know we'll car for your car like we car for our own. Some people think it's just an oil change. Who cars? We do. We car.
You mean care?
Exactly. Jiffy Lube. Car more.
Hi, I'm Marcus Brown from Mountainair High School, and welcome back to Game Time.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the National Electrical Contractors Association. You know, last week in high school football, we saw number 1 versus number 2, and another team score 88 points. Here's a look back at some of the high school highlights last week.
The game of the week lived up to the hype as number 1 Cleveland hosted number 2 Las Cruces. The two teams exchanged blow for blow with the Bulldogs handing the defending state champs their first loss of the season, 38-34. Gunnar Guardiola with the go-ahead score with less than 2 minutes in the game. Las Cruces starts district play with a home game against Hobbs. Also in Rio Rancho on Friday night, Centennial running back Dalen Ramirez had 3 scores, including the game winner with 8 seconds left as the Hawks beat the Rams 42-39. Centennial is at Carlsbad this week. The La Cueva Bears put up a big number in their first win of the season, beating Sandia 42-7. The Bears try to make it 2 in a row on the road at Farmington. Volcano Vista scored 21 points in the first quarter and went on to beat West Mesa 51-0. As a team, the Hawks rushed for 285 yards. Los Alamos is one of the remaining unbeaten teams in the state as the Hilltoppers shut out Highland 13-0. Los Alamos puts their 4-0 record up against Capital this week at home. Cibola scored 23 unanswered points and beat visiting Carlsbad 23-7. The Cougars are 3 points away from being perfect and are at Clovis this week. St. Pius has yet to lose a game. The Sartans beat Oregon Mountain last week 28-21. Herschel Alloway rushed for 255 yards and a pair of scores. In the middle of a downpour, the Moriarty Pintos put away Bernalillo 20-12. Moriarty is at Espanola Valley. Artesia went on the road and beat the Deming Wildcats 41-14. Derek Warren threw a pair of scores and rushed for another. Piedra Vista handed Alamogordo their first loss of the season, 21-14. The Panthers are now 3-1 on the year. Santa Fe's Joseph Opatea provided a spark with the kick return as the Demons beat Albuquerque High 18-6. It's their first district win since 2023. Gadsden remains perfect with a 42-21 win over Mayfield to open district play. The 4-0 Panthers have their biggest test of the season so far when they take on Artesia. Manzano won their third straight as Bodie True threw 2 touchdowns and rushed for a third as the Monarchs beat Hope Christian 29-14. Manzano is at Portales this week. St. Michael's beat Albuquerque Academy 50-21 in a game where Isaiah Dominguez scored 4 touchdowns. The unbeaten 2-time defending state champs host Eunice this weekend. The unbeaten Eunice Cardinals put up 88 points last week in a win over Morton, a team out of Texas. The 88-36 final produced an outstanding performance by Elijah Melanson, who threw for over 200 yards and 3 scores and rushed for 165 and 2 TDs and had a pair of 2-point conversions.
Hi, my name is Elijah Kaiser. I'm from Mountainair High School. Stick around for more Game Time.
There are always a few things you need to take along in order to give your best. Things like heart, comfort, and care. And with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of New Mexico, you'll take heart, having a local partner as passionate in watching your community thrive as you are. You'll take comfort, assured the promise and peace of mind that comes with the Blue Cross card has been handed down through generations. But most of all, you'll take care, confident the support you trust will be forever in reach for all the journeys to come.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail. Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials across the country because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Hi, I'm Brody Brazil. I'm from Mountainair High School, and welcome back to Game Time.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the National Electrical Contractors Association. You know, when you're talking about teams to watch in Class 3A volleyball this year, the list starts with two-time defending state champ St. Michael's. But don't overlook up-and-coming Cobre.
The Cobre High School volleyball team isn't your typical squad.
We're not traditional. I think our tallest girl is maybe 5'7" on a good day. So we're very scrappy, non-traditional. I mean, these girls have no quit in them. Absolutely no quit. They grind out, they practice really, really hard. We're in the weight room constantly, so they're working on their verticals to overcome some of the height issues we have.
I feel like we're very versatile. I feel like everyone's contributing. We have good chemistry, like the pieces are finally fitting.
One of those pieces is sophomore Haley Gutierrez, one of the top hitters in Class 3A.
She's very scrappy, very unpredictable. She can present one way and swing the other way. She's very powerful, just not tall.
I'm scrappy, I want the ball a lot, and when I do get the ball, I don't take it for granted.
Cobre reached the state final last season for the very first time, coming up short against two-time state champ St. Michael's. Cobre got a taste of the title game. Now they want more.
1, 2, 3, no doubt!
You know, I think they have more confidence. They're starting to believe in themselves more, but we are a different team this year than we were last year. In my personal opinion, I think we're better. The first few years was just to get to state. Now we want to win it. You know, last year they got a taste of what that was like, and we didn't like coming home second.
We say like we're gonna get there again, but this time win it and like not just come home second place.
It is an amazing achievement to make it to the state championship, but this year we want to win it.
As the season continues, they have a checklist of goals this year.
We want to be the best serving team, and then our defense should be really strong and come home state champs.
Cobre is currently 7-1 on the year, and they take on rival Silver this week. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the National Electrical Contractors Association. Thanks for watching this week. Make sure you tune in next week because you never know where we're going to be or who we're going to talk to or who's going to get the spotlight, but you do know the place to find the most high school highlights, yep, it's right here. We'll see you next time on Game Time.